starting with the first gentleman whose indelible mark began 3 decades prior, and his involvement in his career had to do with one of the iconic golf brands in the game of golf. From his time as a college golfer and a teammate of legendary Arnold Palmer at Wake Forest University in the early 1950s, all the way through to his involvement in the Arizona Golf Association and throughout his career as one of the most successful sales executives in the history of our game. Al Birmingham has left a lasting footprint at Titleist and beyond. Even in retirement, Al continued to give back to the game and to this community, behind the creation of a national mentoring program assisting young aspiring golf professionals and also sales representatives in the industry. He shepherded so many people. Please join me as we look back at his amazing career.
Before he was one of Titleist's leading salesmen, Al Birmingham was one of the better amateur golfers in Arizona. Before that, he held similar status in Western Pennsylvania high school play, regarded enough that he followed Arnold Palmer to Wake Forest on scholarship. And while this prep basketball ace didn't take the court for the Demon Deacons, I was too small, he said, his golf acumen helped lead Wake to its first ACC title in that sport in 1955. Amateur golf was Al's bailiwick for several years, through a stint in the Army and then into business, where he sold insurance first and then pharmaceuticals before rejoining the golf business. We say rejoining because at the tender age of 17, he was not just a caddy at Montour Heights Country Club in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, but the caddy master. His new golf job would be more substantial, salesman for Acushnet, which is to say Titleist. His area was Arizona, Utah, and Las Vegas. And while Al says he was riding the wave of the golf boom, it's fair to say he was responsible for at least a part of it. This schedule meant networking. Al Birmingham knew everyone worth knowing in his territory.
He grew his relationships in the selling environment unlike anyone I've ever seen. And that's something that I took away as a young man coming to backfill for him. That relationship selling is the key to success. People want to buy from people they like. And everyone liked Al Birmingham.
Once, twice, 3 times Al was selected as Titleist's National Salesperson of the Year. But he did more than push balls, clubs, and accessories. A human version of LinkedIn, Al knew who wanted a better job and where those better jobs were available.
You know, we talk about in the PGA the growth of the game. Well, there's someone who wasn't in the PGA that was committed to the growth of the game, whether it was the Papago Men's Club back in the day. He was on the board of directors of the AGA and then the president, and taking care of the golf professionals and junior golfers and so on and so forth. But you know, you spend your pretty much his whole career in one position, and it happens to revolve around the great sport of golf. He just spread so much of his support in so many different ways that I think he had a lot of influence on a lot of us throughout our careers.
He also kept playing, becoming one of the dominant players in the state's public golf scene, including appearances in the U.S. Public Links Championship. Moreover, he worked behind the scenes to improve the game in the state, first as president of the Papago Men's Club, then as a co-originator of the Arizona Golf Association's handicap system, when the group had merely 4,000 members, and finally, as president of the AGA. After 34 years in sales, Al retired, sort of. Drawing on his matchmaker instincts, Titleist asked him to coordinate a national mentoring program to assist aspiring golf professionals and sales representatives in the industry.
Wally Uline asked Al Birmingham to be the very first national sales mentor. He raised his hand and couldn't accept it fast enough, because that was the passion that he had, was to make everyone better around him.
For all those reasons and more, the Southwest PGA honored Birmingham with the 2007 Answer Award, which recognizes an individual or group whose positive efforts have influenced the history of Arizona golf. 4 years earlier, Birmingham was inducted into the AGA's Arizona Golf Hall of Fame. "Golf has given me almost everything I have in life," Al once said. He paid the game back many times over.
Al Birmingham's one of the most wonderful human beings you'd ever want to meet. Lifelong friend and just a phenomenal human being.
Kind of neat to now know that he's going to be a 3-peat Hall of Famer. Titleist Hall of Famer, Arizona Golf Association Hall of Famer, and now Southwest Section PGA Hall of Famer.
Well, the three-time Hall of Famer could not be here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but he wanted to have me to share a note with you all. Al said, "Friends, thank you for this great honor. It's been my pleasure to work shoulder to shoulder with PGA professionals for over 3 decades. Being honored by the men and women I admire so much means a great deal to me. I regret that I'm unable to join you tonight. It's my duty to be here with my beloved Marion, who shares this recognition with me. Thank you all, Al." Accepting the honor tonight on Al's behalf is longtime co-worker and Titleist sales representative, John Parker. All right, so let's talk about Mr. Birmingham.
Big Al.
Big Al. First time you met Big Al, did his legend precede him? Did you know about him? What was it like?
You know, Al is just the consummate professional. First time I met him was shortly after the company, excuse me, I might shake off stage here, but if I fall down in the pile, pick me up.
We'll get you.
First time I met Al was in August of 1995 when I started 23 years ago, and just struck me as a genuine person, someone who had great people skills, and really showed me what being a Titleist man's all about. My key takeaway with it was how he treated everybody and his personal relationship skills.
You've had a remarkable sales career yourself as far as Titleist is concerned. Was his people skills what made him such a legendary sales representative at Titleist?
Well, I think the way he cared about his customers, Dave, I think that rang through loud and clear with everything Al did. You know, he treated everybody with kindness and respect and great integrity, honesty. I think that had a lot to do with his success.
He said that it was the golf boom that really rocketed his area, his region, to #1 as far as sales is concerned, as far as Titleist in the nation is concerned. Do you think that understated his impact on this market?
Well, I think just a little bit. You know, certainly humility was one of his biggest assets, but I think you know, when you take a look back on the time, yes, he was part of the golf boom that we all have enjoyed, but I think, you know, as I said before, the way he treated his customers with honesty and respect, and just worked hard, and he built the business with his PGA professionals, and the support that he gave them, they returned in kind, and that's what really started the growth of the Titleist brand in this area.
And helped contribute to that boom as well. Now, he was a heck of an amateur golf player.
Yeah.
So did he use those skills to help close deals as far as you were concerned?
Well, I don't think he did so much of that. I think, you know, dating back to as it chronicled there, with Arnold Palmer at Wake Forest, you know, he's a very competitive amateur golfer, and you know, he liked to play quite a bit of golf at White Mountain Country Club and Desert Forest as well. But I think for the most part, you know, Al's golf was really R&R. He enjoyed time with, you know, a competitive round here and there, but I don't think he did too much in way of in terms of closing deals on the golf course.
Well, you talked about his passion for his customers, the relationships that he had with those that he sold to, but also his fellow sales representatives. Very, very important to him in terms of mentoring. In fact, he was a mentor really before the term was commonly used, and you were one of his mentees.
Absolutely.
Why was that so important to him?
Well, I think, you know, Al had this genuine ability to connect with people, and he wanted to make, everything he touched, he wanted to leave better than he found it. And that was true of Titleist as well. You know, John McMillan's here in the room tonight too, and John and I owe our careers to Al. You know, he took us under his wing and showed us what it's like to be a Titleist sales representative. And, you know, I think when you think of Al, you think of someone who gave everything he had to make everyone around him better, and consequently, you know, his legend grew within the company and within our Southwest.
Well, his legend grew, and in doing so, he made all of us in the game better. So thanks so much for accepting this award on his behalf. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.